TSM, even if you have an even composition.
Yeah.
TSM's probably a much better macro team. Maybe your best shot really is, hey, let's draft winning lanes, let's draft a jungler who can invade, and hope that you smash them.
Yep. Take him down fast. Hope they don't see it coming. Zach, Talon, almost said Taliyah. Talon banned. Probably will see a Taliyah coming back into this game, whether she is banned or left up. The team's probably taking their time here to make sure they get everything they want. Nothing missed.
And not that many tank bans coming through just yet, so we'll see what all gets over to first pick. People have had some pretty different options. We've seen Caitlyn first picks. We've seen some of the powerful supports like Thresh early first pick. We've seen Kalista first pick. We've seen Cho'Gath and Zac and Maokai. And so there's a lot of different options for that kind of first pick, and it really depends a lot on what you're prioritizing. Again, we're in this situation where multiple of the OP tanks are still available. You'd expect Maokai to be selected. Maybe FOX says, hey, okay, we'll ban that out because of that. But then there is still Kalista, there is still Thresh, things like that. You can even go for Cho'Gath. I'm not sure that TSM is really playing it. That is one of the champions that I think is super OP that not every team is on just yet. But some teams are playing it and are prioritizing it extremely highly.
Oh no, they didn't ban Yasuo. What's gonna happen?
It's not gonna get picked. Spoiler alert.
God, you're such a good analyst.
Thank you.
Thresh getting locked in for Biofrost. Plays from the bot lane to be coming in here in the very near future. And what is the answer? They're usually okay with picking the top. And just kind of hanging out, not showing too much, but that flex top.
I mean, you certainly can go to the Cho'Gath, but I'm going to stop talking about that because it seems like none of these teams are interested in playing him. Either way, we could see bot lane going in. Ooh. We saw a priority on Kalista from them last game. They could go something like Blitz Kalista. I think that is a solid duo bot lane if they want to keep that away from DoubleLift. They certainly have the option there. And Trundle is a pick I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about because I think it's something that should come back into the meta, in a tank meta, because his ultimate, is so powerful into these tanks. You can shred them up and makes you the super tank in the fight, and also is essentially providing a massive amount of like armor pen and magic pen against these guys.
He's one of my favorite pickups because then he starts to flex around as well. Sometimes when they grab a bunch of tanks, you see him at support. It's pretty tricky to have your damage reduced a little bit. What's going to happen? Is it the pick? Yeah, they're going to take it away. It's either Blitz Kalista or they take the Kalista Thresh. That feels a little bit better to not give it up.
Yeah, I mean, Kalista Thresh is kind of considered the premier Kalista 2v2 lane. Has a ridiculous amount of kill pressure, a lot of utility, and once you're 6, I mean, you have not only the Kalista ultimate to save the Thresh, but you have the Thresh Lantern to save the Kalista. So this really has it all. And generally speaking, people do not want to give over that bot lane to their opponents. That's why TSM banned out Thresh in the first game. They did get, the Braum Kalista, but it's something that's not quite as powerful. So now FOX certainly going to have a tough bot lane on their hands. And if they don't pick their AD here, they have the ability to actually target that and try to put them on some sort of champion that they really think they can abuse.
Froggen decides to take that Corki Akaadian back to his Kha'Zix. See if he goes skirmishers once again to try and get under the skin of what would be Svenskeren's Gragas, we would think.
Yeah, likely going to be Svenskeren Gragas, but again, flex picks. This can go top, this can go jungle. So it could be either. You are expecting Froggen to be playing this Corki mid lane, but there is a possibility that it could go AD carry as well. So we'll see where TSM is actually going to focus their picks and bans.
Let's see that. Or think of MASH, I think of like Kog'Maw, Corki, a few of those AD carries.
The Rumble pick to me tells me that it's more likely right now that they're thinking of playing Gragas top because Rumble actually is a very good matchup, generally speaking, into that Gragas. So that could be something that they want to try to deal with. Also, I mean, just really if you want to play any tank, that is something that Rumble deals pretty well with in the early game, can push you in pretty heavily.
Jax was banned out last game as well. As you can see, Rumble taken. What is the final ban here coming from TSM? Might be just at Brandini to make sure he doesn't have too much in that top lane.
Yeah, certainly possible. But they are going to do one of... I think this makes some sense, right?
Yeah,
if you feel like, hey, ban out one of the AD carries that is A, very effective late game, and B, that maybe could actually survive in the early game, and MASH is going to go to the Draven.
Okay.
Wow. And this is a super aggressive bot lane here. I mean, even just with these 4 picks, it actually doesn't matter what the last pick is for FOX. They're all in on the early game, essentially.
Heck yeah.
Like, with Blitz and
we said,
Draven,
are they going to do it again?
Yeah. I mean, Blitz, Draven, you have Kha'Zix early invading jungler. You have this very powerful laning phase, but if you are not effective in that laning phase, then it's going to be tough.
You usually don't get that like abrupt of a kill lane in LCS. I mean, Kalista Thresh obviously has a potential to kill, but this one just gets into lane and they're going to keep hitting you with axes, keep trying to pull you. They got the work cut out for them on the side of TSM, as the final pick coming through could be that Taliyah. Bjergsen feeling comfortable on it coming out of game 1. They already have that Jarvan locked in.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You called it. That they can go right back to this combo. This is the same solo laners from the first game. And you can certainly expect them to look for the same sort of plays, right? To be able to spread out the map and look for that. Camille is going to be the pick here for Brandini.
It gets through.
That is a pick you expect to be able to outscale and out 1v1 Hauntzer in the later stages of the game, but he has to get there, right? And that's certainly something that does give them a later game win condition if you can get this super strong split pushing Camille. But that being said, I mean, a lot of focus has to be on the bot lane, right? This is a Blitz and a Draven who are going to be hyper aggressive, taking the Ignite for now, and it's going to be tough for DoubleLift to actually trade into the Draven because Draven's short trades are so much more powerful. And if the Kalista ever gets hooked in early, that could be pretty devastating. Even Biofrost on the Thresh does have to be somewhat careful. But if they can play this safe, wait for their jungler to come down, that's certainly something that you can look to take advantage of.
It's always interesting when a team kind of has that factor of being better in the early game, so they continue going for those early game compositions. I love seeing it because they kind of put themselves on that line. It's always a bit more pressure. Hashtag TSM win, hashtag Fox win. We'll see if Echo Fox can keep this series alive.
And one thing that is going to work up against them a little bit in the early game is you expect Jarvan to be able to push in the Camille, generally speaking, so they don't have all pushing lanes anymore. You know, we saw the first invade coming out of Kha'Zix from Akaadian in game 1 was because Rumble had top lane pushed up and he evaded Rumble and Kha'Zix, go push out Svenskeren. This time, if the Jarvan is pushing in your Camille, then it's much scarier to invade on that top side because Jarvan will respond first. So they're going to have to be cognizant of that, and we'll see how Akaadian can play around this if he decides, you know, to maybe go for that Tracker's Knife this time if he doesn't feel he can invade.
All right, we are on to the Rift for game number 2. TSM now on the blue side, Echo Fox coming down from the top side of the map on red. And we have basically the same comp we're looking at here from TSM with just a few changes in that AD carry and jungle position. Still basically the same kind of abilities you get out of it.
Yeah,
long range and a lot of damage.
Essentially, they have the double front line. They still have Bjergsen on the Taliyah, and they have their bot lane, obviously a little bit different there, but still, generally speaking, it's a similar type of composition. I would say the scaling's not quite as good, you know, on someone like the Gragas compared to the Maokai. The Maokai is certainly a superior pick, I think, but Gragas does offer a ton of playmaking, offers, I think, more early pressure because of that, and also the ability to knock people like the Draven in later in the fight. So we'll see if they're going to be able to pull off any early plays with that.
Minions have spawned.
TSM trying to deny the actual Wraith Ward Brush, and they're looking to actually move forward here. Have been spotted, though. So both teams are trying to kind of play around this now. TSM last time was able to actually deny the Wraith Ward, and now they're going to go for kind of this super leash that we have talked about, where you start leashing this, and then the bot lane backs off and starts leashing the red buff. Then they go over to that. And look where Gate is actually setting up. Gate sitting in the Dragon Pit. He's hoping that TSM bot lane takes the greedy path here. Then he will try to hook DoubleLift over. And they're going to try to go for a play here. Or Biofrost. He does look in Biofrost. So Biofrost has to flash now. 100% he has to flash.
Fantastically played.
Really nice.
1-2s. I mean, that's what you get out of playing Blitz in the beginning, right? Why not make that play?
Yeah, it's really smart. But the question can be asked, if your AD carry is not taking the greedy route, why are you, right? Like, DoubleLift went the long way around. Why is Biofrost going that way, right? So if your AD carry is going to try to rush the lane, you're going to try to really fast push it, then maybe it makes sense that he walk that way. Either way, it takes a greedy path. They force out the flash. Smart stuff from the Echo Fox. And now they have flash down on Biofrost. So they can look to pressure even more, right? You're going to have to see them play a bit more defensively because if Biofrost is getting hooked in, if the KD comes down there, that could be a free kill.
It did mean...
Nice trades.
As he's going to clean up the CS coming in here. DoubleLift bet to the CS early. I'll have to see if those levels actually start to make a difference in lane. The flash down for Biofrost could mean they play timid. Brandini and Hauntzer going back and forth.
And Svenskeren already here.
Svenskeren, the flash in. Brandini still has his. There's the slow hook shot, gets him just to safety. But they know, he knows he's going to be getting a bit more pressure now.
And that's the advantage of that super leash, using the flash body slam there. Our body slam flash very early on, but Brandini gets out, and it's 2 summoner spells down for TSM. He's able to TP back, so well done by him, and he's going to be able to click the CS as it comes on in. So it could be turned around, right? Because now we have Akaadian with the flash. If you didn't want to invade before, he certainly could look for that now, right? This is a flashless Gragas that you could look to abuse.
Brandini looking to go refill immediately. He's like, I'll just get this potion. You just start stacking up the money. Good push back onto Froggen as the lane resets and trading back a bit of equal damage. Looks like exhaust to heal in that lane. So the kill pressure's there, but they'll probably get out of the situation before either of them actually go down. Just look at Mash quick. Obviously not too much has happened, but he's at 39 adoration stacks. So we'll see how much he has when he actually cashes in.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't talked about yet, but it's so pivotal for Draven. You know, he gets gold based off of every stack that he has when he gets a kill, and he loses half his stacks, I still believe, when he does die. So it's one of those situations where you're trying to stack as heavily as possible. You get a stack for every CS, I believe, with Axe, as well as every time you catch it. So you can stack them up pretty quickly if you're very good with it. And if you get to like a couple hundred stacks and you get that kill, that gold injection can be so big and can be enough to actually snowball the game out of control for the Draven. But Svenskeren is here.
Get him in with the dark passage. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be going down to the light this time. 5 minutes in, they put a bit of pressure bot side, so Svenskeren has been coast to coast now, trying to make this work.
And that's the gank assist from the Thresh, right? No summoners have to be blown there from TSM. That means Blirzcrank is down a flash, and if Blirzcrank cannot posture aggressively, cannot play aggressively, that support is worthless. Like, you don't have any pressure if you're sitting back under your turret. You need to be in the bush. You need to be threatening these hooks, and taking that flash away really limits the ability of Gate to do this.
It's much easier to read that Blitzcrank's positioning as well. Hooks are easier to dodge, and as soon as the hook and the flash are down, the respect goes away. Akaadian trying to disrespect in the jungle a little bit here. He calls for help from Froggen, and that's that lane push. Bjergsen's a little late to come here as he's kind of dealing with a wave at the turret.
Nice sidestep.
Biofrost comes up to help.
No hook,
Pull
no
over.
flash,
Biofrost, yeah, flash from the early game, still going in, and Biofrost is going to go down on the roam from the bot lane to mid. First blood for Akaadian.
Gate having a laugh about that one. Hooks him over the wall again. And this time, no flash to bail out Biofrost. And Akaadian with such a nice little sidestep, his team had backed off, so Biofrost had no backup there. They're able to get first blood onto the Kha'Zix, and he's going to look to invest probably in some early aggressive pressure. So really good sidestep. Svenskeren walks off. He gets hooked in. Taliyah is under the mid lane turret. So at this point, this is just a dead support. There's nothing they can really do for him. You can see Bjergsen even already basing, knowing that Biofrost is going down.
Last cone just a few more steps away, but then again, you're Thresh, so you have to actually stand on it to make that work. Serrated Dirk, Boots, and Vision coming in from Ashe on the bot side, so he'll be able to put a bit more sting on with those axes as he starts catching them. DoubleLift, I think he'll come back with not too much just yet. He's on 1,600 gold, so he's just waiting to back.
Probably a Bilgewater Cutlass would be the buy, I would expect. We'll see where he decides to go, though, if he wants to go to that Blade of the Rune King or do something different. Either way, it was actually the Tracker's Knife on Akaadian, so we talked about the fact that top lane may be getting pushed in, and Gate now looking for a roam. We'll see if he can get a summoner out of Bjergsen.
Predict the flash, hits him. Oh, catches him out of the air. Beautifully done. The charges take him down. Biofrost tries to get there in time, and that's 2 summoners and Bjergsen down.
I mean, that was very well done. Gate with the early Moby Boots just runs straight in, and Bjergsen not wanting to early flash, trying to respect the hook and hoping he could actually force him to use the hook, then reactively flash. But if you get punched up, the hook is guaranteed, and this costs a lot for Bjergsen, who goes down, and now Froggen is off to a good start. And
Alley-oops him out of the air.
He's hoping that the speed boost was going to end before he actually got the punch off.
Yeah.
And if the speed boost ends, then he has to start the hook, and when he goes to the hook, you flash it. But in this case, Gate makes another nice play, and he's been on point with the Blitzcrank so far.
Blitzcrank was banned second phase first game by TSM, and maybe we see why now. It's just the chaos it controls in that laning phase. They want to keep going for a while.
Level 6 Gragas down here, though, and Flash is back. This is a flashless Blitzcrank, so They could go for the play, but they don't know where Akaadian is, and I think they are scared of the 3v3.
You see Biofrost start to hover the top side of that lane if they really wanted it for the lantern drag. And a switch over to Froggen here as he's going to get blue buff and wait for a lot of those missiles to charge up in lane. You can see that capacity just under his health bar for Corki. Brandini pretty good on the trades once he gets that passive back up. He always gets a bit of a shield for Hauntzer's damage. And he's actually going in pretty well. Hauntzer not able to stand toe-to-toe.
Really nice trade.
Pretty much the spot he wants to be farming at. He can't farm at now.
Yeah, I mean, Hauntzer not able to actually hit that flag and drag, and then Brandini does land a stun, does land the full combo. And now Hauntzer has to be pretty careful, but he knows that there could be focus coming over from TSM. Thankfully for him, they have a ward by the blue buff, so Brandini knows Svenskeren is coming. You still have to stand very far back. It doesn't matter if you know that it's coming if you still die to it, and Jarvan can set it up very easily with the Cataclysm. So he is backing off and showing that respect.
Not so quick, Drake.
No, they are very low, but TSM can't really respond. So it should be their dragon. And just fight that away. Nicely done. And that's an Infernal, so that is a big one. And the fact that Froggen had package makes this an even better time to go for it, because they know if any fight breaks out, he can very easily respond with the package. And I like playing around that cooldown in ways like this. A lot of times you can't actually get a kill with the package, but you know what you can do? You can force an objective. You can get vision in your opponent's jungle. You can threaten these sorts of plays. And TSM now big air move on the top side and the bot side.
Yeah, they want everything here. Quick dodge. He felt he would hug the left
Going for the dive on top, though. Froggen is coming up. I don't know if he still has the package to get here.
Brandini ultimatum. Now he can hook shot out of this one. Beautifully played, but he actually goes back in. Trying to give Froggen the kills here. Hauntzer going to be going down, and now Svenskeren has to go toe-to-toe with Froggen. The blue buff is there. He can continue to sling out the spells. Flashes over, but takes the slow from the cast, and that may be enough. Valkyrie just putting him in range. A few more. 3 charges up, and he's not going to be able to get the last one off. The big one not doing enough damage to Svenskeren.
And TSM tried to pull off that play. I talked about how you usually cannot get a kill when the package is up.
Yeah.
But TSM goes for the play. And Froggen using that package to get back up there. Fight on the bot side, though.
Quick hook in. Gate is 5. Mash is 7. His Gate hasn't been getting the experience in lane. I guess Biofrost is sitting in the same spot, but that silence isn't there yet. So they have to be careful about taking these fights. DoubleLift can just keep dancing around. We'll see this top fight again.
And the reason Froggen gets there so fast, that's the package. He utilizes the package to get up from mid lane, and then really nice dodge on the body slam from Brandini. They go straight over onto Bjergsen. Bjergsen took aggro on the turret, so multiple mistakes there from TSM. Svenskeren should have been the one tanking that up, so Bjergsen could actually finish off the kill, but they notice the turret is on Bjergsen. Immediately, ultimatum goes down on him. They focus him down. Very good target selection and play from Brandini and Froggen. And TSM probably shouldn't have gone for the play in the first place when packaged up, and B, should have had aggro on a different player.
Echo Fox answering very well, adapting to pretty much everything as it happens on the fly. TSM with those invades, very deep wards to the top side, so they'll know where Akaadian is if he heads there. They are going to try to go in the mid lane on Froggen now. That Valk's down, he's going to just head out, or hang out, I should say, in mid. Akaadian back and forth. Should be able to jump over the wall and get out of this one.
He actually got Bjergsen pretty low. I mean, I know Bjergsen still had heal, but you can see the damage already coming out of this guy. Is this time it's a pre 11-minute Triforce, so that is very, very fast for Froggen, and he's certainly going to be really strong and going to be looking to try to carry this game.
Pretty ridiculous CS as well. 116 to 95 there at the 11-minute mark. He's only not farming now because he went down. So expect him to clean everything up in mid lane and keep that lead. We'll see how this happened again. TSM was kind of sick of nothing happening, and they say, let's bring the team.
Yeah, really nice roam there from Biofrost. A bit of an oopsie on the hook, but he already hit the flash play, and the body slam was there too.
Known as a zoning hook.
A zoning hook. He could not go back towards his base.
He could not go back towards his base.
That's true. Either way, really nice play. And roams have been kind of the name of the game. Both supports have been getting involved, moving towards the mid lane, and now it's, both sides have been able to actually execute on one of those kills. And Biofrost here again.
A lot of wards on the side of Fox. They can't even really enter this dragon side. Infernal, they want to stop that second one, as it were, to come up. Still has quite a bit here, but TSM is making quick work of that vision. They moved it from top now to bottom to prioritize here.
And Mash sitting at 270 or so stacks. Going to be
Ooh.
going back and looking for a Ghost Blade here. I imagine could be Dust Blade too. It will be the Dust Blade. So now he really wants to cash in. You complete that first item.
Yeah.
You try to get a kill. If you can actually cash in before you die, that will be a really big injection of gold because you'd get over 500 gold from the passive plus the gold from the kill. So that can be so big in actually snowballing you and getting you very quickly towards this next lethality item if he decides to go for that.
Those games feel super good. When you like leave the base with 20 gold, you go back with 1100, you're like, and another
Serrated
item.
Dirk. Get that right in there and go for it. But TSM knows this, and they're trying to set up a dive onto the Draven. They want to be able to take him down before he can actually cash in. There are 4 members of TSM down here on this bot side. 4 members of Echo Fox responding, though.
Hook for a hook. Oh my word. Gate taken down immediately. The rest of that is going to slow the team.
Camille's here though, and Hauntzer is not TP'd.
Brandini right around. That's going to be Hextech Ultimatum. Oh, he's going to get one locked in onto DoubleLift. Fate's Call pushes him right back into Brandini. DoubleLift has the room to keep the fire going. Cataclysm on all 3. He actually gets the flag and drag in before he gets that down, and DoubleLift has the chance to dance around the outside and continue to take down Echo Fox.
I mean, Mash couldn't follow up. He didn't have his flash to go over the wall, so Brandini just goes so deep there. Had Draven been involved in the fight, they would have smashed it, but he could not get over the wall, was not able to actually join in, and it means Brandini dives too far, and TSM comes out okay.
Great cover on everybody chasing down. Once they kind of located Brandini, they knew what the priority objective was in that fight. Bjergsen now 2 kills, DoubleLift with 2 kills on the Kalista, and we'll see this once again.
I mean, it's a good start to the fight from TSM, but then Camille is TP'd in so much earlier. Like, look at him get burst down, seismic shove, just deleted. Camille is here so much faster. Yes, they have the strength to go for the play, but look where Mash is, right? How is he actually supposed to get over here? He kind of hesitates, he goes back around, Brandini comes over, but look how long it actually takes Draven to get down. So it's really just the 3 members here. And then all of TSM has arrived before Mash has actually even gotten to the fight. DoubleLift is back to his turret. Now Mash starts fighting, but Bjergsen is here too, and the fight has already kind of gone south a bit. They almost take down Hauntzer, but imagine if Mash was there. 1 or 2 more autos, he could have up.
Oh my word, Bjergsen had about 3 hits before he was dead. We only saw 1 of them, but they are going to be going for Dragon now. Mash kind of teetering on knife's edge of where's his front line, where's his back line, because those axes need to hit. Right now they're waiting for Gate to pull somebody to the back line. It looks like they will concede this Dragon. You see the damage from the fight.
Yeah, they would have loved to get this second Infernal, but Brandini went top, and Hauntzer walked down. So when your top laner does not have TP, they were not willing to take the 5v4, and I think in that case it was the correct decision. You also pair that with the fact that TSM has done a good job actually getting vision around this Dragon, like 3 pink wards around that area, multiple wards in the river as well. Brandini does cash in on a turret though, and they're hoping to get him to a spot where he can win these 1v1s, and that's going to be like a big deal for Echo Fox too. You have a really strong mid laner right now. If you can get the Camille to where he's winning the 1v1s against J4, that's very good, and then you're just trying to really get the Draven going, cash him in.
It's a good thing he didn't go down last fight. Mash did stay alive, so those stacks continue to go up. A lot of money sitting in that pocket. Top lane being pushed in by Hauntzer. All teleports are down, so we could actually expect to see a little quiet time here for the time being.
Lane swap's coming out from Echo Fox, though, and they're actually going to try to make this happen faster. They're going to look for the pick on Hauntzer and then try to push down the turret. But, I mean, TSM's already on the turret. Hauntzer should know this is coming. Maybe caught out regardless.
Hold
they can try to get this kill on Mash. This would be big.
Oh, Cataclysm back. They might be able to drop Akaadian, but Svenskeren actually didn't go for the fight as well. They all wanted out. They do get the kill over onto Hauntzer. Pressure on the bot side grabs the turret, though. And 1 for 1 on structures.
Yep, Brandini had already knocked down that top turret, so TSM collects the turret here. They do get a kill, but still I think you prioritize the turret kill over that kill in this situation. If you had cashed in Mash, maybe that changes up the math because that is so much extra gold injected in. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the kill onto the Draven, so he's going to push out the wave, and we'll see what the lane assignments are going to be for Echo Fox if they decide to actually swap their bot lane back, or if they're happy to have them sit up in the top lane.
Gate always roaming. He just wants the back safe. Good wards push forward here from Fox. Helps Froggen stay on these last few minions in the mid lane because it's quite quiet for him. He doesn't have too many teammates that would be able to help at this point. And they need to keep him alive. There's good damage coming from Akaadian and Froggen. Those two huge in this fight until they can get Mash going. And that's what we're waiting for. Fox can usually control this a portion of the game and before this, but this is where TSM usually starts to out-macro them once they get back onto the map.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
To Echo Fox's credit, these are some of the best early games they've shown lately, because while they traditionally have been a good early game team, in the last couple of weeks they have not been. They have not been a good team at any time of the game. So, I mean, the fact that they are actually going toe-to-toe with TSM is encouraging. It is, kind of showing that strength again, and I think partly it's because Akaadian and Froggen are back in, and those are really the guys who have been dominant in the early stages. Akaadian getting those early kills, and Froggen with ridiculously good laning stats. So we'll see if they can actually transition this into a strong mid game and into a win. So far, they are in a decent spot. They have a lot of kills on both Akaadian and Froggen. Brandini is scaling up pretty well, but Nash has not really been able to get involved and not really been able to cash in. So it could be tough for him when you get to these team fights if he's not really ahead. Like Lethality Draven, once it gets to the point where Hauntzer and Svenskeren are stacking armor, and you are just getting dove by a Gragas and this J4 and the Thresh is in your face, like it's so hard if you're not really, really strong to actually get through that front line and get to the squishy targets that you want to take out.
Bit of a spike here. Brandini now 2 Triforces on the team. We know Froggen has had his for the past 8 or so minutes with the clip that he farms at and able to grab his resources. Not too much of a gold lead. 300 here. 30 seconds onto that Baron as TSM does start the Rift Herald. I thought this was going to go to the wayside this game with the pressure. But TSM using a little bit of that macro to stretch the map thin are going to get this one without any contest.
I mean, they do a really good job of setting up vision around where they want to play. When they wanted that last Infernal, we pointed out 5 or 6 wards in the bottom side river. Now they wanted the Rift Herald. Look where all their warding is. All the way up into the jungle near the red buff. They have a line of pinks, 3 pinks across that river. So they know they're safe to do this. They're doing their due diligence, great preparation on the vision, on the warding, that lets them know, hey, we're safe to actually take this objective right before it goes down. Ooh, nice sidestep.
Sidestep or myth? I'm just kidding.
A little bit of both.
Little.
It's always a little bit of both.
Takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, exactly. When I see them moving like that, I like to give the credit for the dodge as opposed to just the straight up miss. But
I always thumbs up. I always thumbs up the aggressive dodge, the forward dodge. Get the player's
won the
head.
fight now, and Hauntzer going to be taking a lot of damage here.
See who's in whose head on this fight. Oh, Froggen making it a 2v1, and DoubleLift can't get there in time. Late to the party. Fox looks like they actually wanted to join this one with invite, and they will back off to say that's good enough for us. 40 seconds on this dragon. Let's actually gain the pressure, and they already have enough pink vision.
Another nice roam there by Froggen. It looked like Hauntzer probably would have won out on that 1v1, but Froggen gets in there and does actually take him down, so well played by him. He has been very active this game and having a very strong game for himself on the Corki. And Corki does scale well, so it's not like they're not going to have good late game damage. It's just about, once again, the composition with the front line does make it tougher. But they have Blirzcrank, they can look for picks, they can burst people down, and that's what they're trying to do.
One slow. There's the flash. Oh, taken down before the hook goes through. This is DoubleLift going to be going down. Hook shot straight to him. Very nice flash to keep himself alive for the time being, but it's all a futile attempt. He goes down, and so is Biofrost.
And what good timing. Right as the Infernal does spawn, so they can go for this. They have to actually respond a little bit to TSM in the mid lane, though, too. As the Rift Herald has been dropped, this turret should be going down, but if they can at least defend the secondary turret, which it looks like they will be in position to do, and get that Infernal, they're in a pretty good spot because Brandini is pushing bot. They're doing pretty well here, and nice hook.
That was pretty sweet.
Rift Herald can be CC'd. You can make it pretty useless sometimes.
Takes it right back. But that also plays into the favor of kind of what we talked about last game, is where if TSM is able to get something at any moment, it seems like their waves are right there and ready. Brandini had to push this one up a little bit later. Now he's grabbing it, but it still happens. It's just a few seconds behind, and that's where TSM kind of starts to grab a lead.
And that's exactly it, right? It's like, when you look at this situation and you say, okay, Echo Fox made a great play, they killed multiple people, of course they get much more, right?
Right.
Well, they lost 2 turrets. They actually lose a fair bit because of that. I still think it's a good play for them because they got a turret of their own. They get the Infertile. They get a couple kills. But TSM is always a team who is ready to make the best out of a bad situation. And when they have a really good situation, they get even more. And now they are on the Baron. There is a blue trinket available for MASH, but I think this is actually just going to be gone because Akaadian is pretty far away. I don't know if they can get here in time. We'll see if they go for the play. Brandini has no TP.
They have the Whirling Death.
Kalista can look to secure this.
MASH throws in Whirling Death, and he steals it with the ultimate Whirling Objective Stealer. And it's 10-5 now as TSM leaves bewildered of where the Baron went.
They have the Kalista Smite combo. And MASH just throws in the ultimate casually, takes that down. That could be the key to actually winning this game. I mean, that should have been a TSM Baron, them tying up the gold league, having the better composition and taking the game. Instead, that's 2 turrets and the Baron for FOX. They are now very far ahead.
See where they go with this. A few of the minion waves are in position this time around. That bot wave respected by Hauntzer now may leave Bjergsen open in the mid lane for just enough time. It seems like they might just want Hauntzer and the turret if they route down to the bot side. They're waiting to see if Brandini pulls in a bit of aggression.
Yeah, and I mean, MASH has cashed in now. He got his kill, he didn't die. He has so much gold on this Draven. They're just gonna bum rush this inhibitor turret. That is gone, and this is gonna be an inhibitor at 24 minutes for FOX.
Look where TSM is as well, turned on top of their head for this play, thinking they had time, and that's how dark the map is for them on that bot side. Fox was on that side of the court the whole time.
So well done for FOX. Definitely a big thanks over to Svenskeren and DoubleLift for messing up the Baron.
See it again.
This is a great play here from MASH. He goes for the attempt on the steal, throws it in. The Ren came in, but the Smite did not, so it was not in sync there. And he is very happy about that one.
Brandini, great job, MASH. We're taking this one home, buddy. All right, 25 minutes on the clock. At TSM, like we said, they're going to try to make the best of a bad situation, and that one basically put their backs against the wall for a moment. They still can have some map control. They took out 3 turrets before that, but did now lose
Brandini,
6 of their turrets.
Super strong now, has the Ravenous Hydra. He's going to chase down Hauntzer.
Hextech ultimatum after the flag and drag. Where did his health go? Brandini coming up huge, and the super minion there to help take down Hauntzer.
I mean, that's that scaling on Camille. You get so ridiculously strong. Look how much AD he has. He has a flat BF sword going for the GA.
346.
And he has the Ravenous Hydra. This guy is very, very strong right now. And I mean, FOX have gotten more than far enough ahead to actually take this game.
I mean, that's the ticket, right? They continue to build these early game teams, but now they have that safety in Brandini to scale up if they don't get the early game they wanted. They kept it even with TSM and were able to catapult an 8,000 gold lead. 1.5 minutes left on Baron, and they continue to turn TSM's base into shambles.
It's a tough one for TSM. I mean, they were still within reach until that Baron went wrong, right? And that Baron really lost them everything because they had 5 members there. Brandini was split pushing. They lose the Baron. They lose multiple turrets. Now their split pusher can't 1v1. Like, they just got so behind off that Baron play. We'll see if they can actually slow down the pace of the game, because if they can, they still can, you know, pull it back with their composition to a place where they could win, but it's going to be very hard. FOX has 2 inhibitors, and they're looking to quickly close out this game.
They want to put a little bit of pressure on. Fate's Call goes back in, throws down the box. What a hit from Team Solomid! Brandini gets deleted. Froggen still alive, trying to put the damage back onto Hauntzer, but Gate's already running. His mana shield is down, and that means he's going to be taking more damage as it falls. MASH goes down. That shield is gone for Gate, and he's got to stay out of the way of the damage. These guys absolutely got jumped on, and we said TSM can always make the best of a bad situation. You got to be ready.
Yeah, what a good combo there from TSM. Great engage, but their base is under pressure from these super minions, so Bjergsen needs to get back and defend this. Should be able to keep the turret alive, you would expect. They will be able to do so. Either way, this just buys them a bit of time. It's a good play, but it's a 3-for-1 in the kills, and they are still massively behind. Waves are still crashing in, and Froggen is going to be able to go back and buy, and these guys are so strong.
How long have they been out? About 1,500 to 1,300 in some pockets, as we see this fight one more time.
The Weaver's Wall was just so sick. Into that base call, knocks up 4. They had the Taliyah combo on multiple, Svenskeren in there for a great ultimate, but look how fast DoubleLift actually got deleted there by Froggen. He went down in almost an instant, and then Froggen doing a good job, kiting back, able to chunk some of these guys out. They do take down MASH, but Echo Fox does not get completely routed there, which was certainly important. If you give up all 5 kills, TSM can get control back on the map, but TSM needs to continue making good plays like this. The next dragon, they should not fight for. They should be playing around their minion waves, and Sven looking for a pick, though.
Can't stop, won't stop. He's got Hauntzer right behind him. One more body slam in just a few seconds. MASH uses the adrenaline rush to get himself some distance just out of range of the body slam, but he's got 5 members chasing him down.
They're chasing so far, though. Brandini's in the base, and Brandini's going to go for the end. All Echo Fox has to do is delay now. If they can stop these bases, Echo Fox wins the game, and Akaadian does stop the base, and I don't know if Hauntzer can do this by himself. We'll see.
There's one hit. He can't take too much damage from the turrets. Brandini needs to work the minions in. He might want to get back with his team is what they're saying. Double close to going down. Akaadian hops out of that one. Gate's going to be able to take one down. Can he get another one? That kill actually going over to Akaadian before he went down. Gate not coming up with much more than grabs here. It's still a 2v1 as they teeter back and forth. TSM on the wrong side of the fight, and Brandini going for the Nexus as they are coast to coast in what's happening right now. He's got the GA, so he's coming back up with super minions right behind him. Tries to get the last bit of armor. Hextech ultimatum as he feels like he can drop Hauntzer anyways. And it's Brandini taking the game for Echo Fox, and the team behind him all the way there.
What an end to that game. That was insane. TSM chasing so far on the MASH, and they can't actually lock him up with their CC, unable to hit the flag and drag, unable to get him knocked back into the team, and they got stuck over in the enemy's jungle. Only Hauntzer could get back to base, and at this point, he has been outscaled. He's not able to actually hold Brandini in that 1v1, so great job by Echo Fox closing out the game.
Absolutely. They had to come out a little bit stronger. Bjergsen, again, a 5-kill game. Froggen said, we all need to do more. Froggen with 7. Brandini coming up huge at the end. The Kha'Zix working again. It was a very big rinse and repeat here for Echo Fox because they knew they had that early game. They just had to have that card in the late game where they could say, got that ace in the hole, baby. We're playing this one, Brandini's Camille.
Yeah, I mean, Camille got to the point where there's nothing J4 can do anymore, right? There's no way that he's really going to win that 1v1. I mean, Brandini started actually fighting Hauntzer after he was at like 30% health and still wins the 1v1, so that's always going to feel bad. But it was well played by Echo Fox. You certainly have to point to some of the mistakes, though, from TSM. I mean, that Baron secure really should have been theirs. Losing that to the Draven ultimate, when you have Kalista ultimate plus Smite, that's a combo you need to be able to pull off, and we've seen teams fall prey to that. Earlier, I believe this weekend, we saw Cho'Gath and a Kalista get out-smited by Reignover just kind of wandering in and smiting that. So
we'll see this go back through the game a little bit here with MASH's take of the Baron.
I mean, it was a good Baron call. Brandini's on the bot side. He has no TP. So, well, he's like, well, okay, I guess I'll keep split pushing, right? The problem here is that they do not execute their Smite Rend combo. There is the Rend, no Smite comes out. That needs to be synced up. You need to do a countdown, basically, and immediately do it at the same time. And if you do not, you open up for these kind of random steals to come in. And MASH, you know, good timing, also some luck, steals that away. And that meant not only does TSM not get that, they're losing stuff on the bot side. They don't have the Baron buff themselves. They lose that gold, and they lose their mid turret. That was the game-defining moment.
As well, they kept putting things into play where they were in position with Brandini to roam. Those minions were there. It was funny, as we kind of pull back the MASH for a second, that it wasn't the adoration stacks that came out from the Draven. He controlled lane a lot, but in the end, the ult to really help pull them through. And what they did in the early game was so strong. Continuing to go around the Kha'Zix, again, pressuring very hard onto TSM for Akaadian.
They're putting on a lot of pressure, I think, with the Akaadian Froggen combo, playing it very well. Biofrost had no flash from some level 1 cheese or creative play or whatever you want to call it from Gate. He did a really nice ward over the Dragon Ball, and Biofrost walks a greedy way, gets hooked, loses flash, repeat, get that hook, now he's dead. Then the roam up here from Gate, really active in the early game. Bjergsen thinking he could get away, loses both his summoners and dies. Then, this is another big mistake, I think, from TSM, where they go for the 3-man dive. Froggen had package. Not only does Froggen have package, but Bjergsen is the one tanking the turret. You need that to be on his Svenskeren. And I think what actually may have happened there is because Brandini avoided the body slam from Svenskeren with his ultimate.
Right.
That was what they were expecting to take aggro on the turret. So then Bjergsen starts attacking, thinking that the Gragas body slam would have already hit, but it did not. So he gets aggro. They focus him down. Those couple plays, some mistakes from TSM, but also some great plays from FOX really did turn around the game.
And one last great play from FOX. While one was in the base, stopping the backs was huge. And you don't get to do this very often.
Yeah.
So it's almost a new experience every time. You're just trying to get away.
And I mean, TSM chasing very heavily onto Mash here. Hauntzer expended his ultimate actually onto Akaadian. That might have made a difference if they could have just killed him off right off the bat. But they have Camille in the bot lane. They're saying, well, end the game. All we have to do is actually stop here. Akaadian gets up, stops DoubleLift's base. Yes, we did see Hauntzer get back to base, but then they're able to actually force a fight. They know they're pretty strong here. All they really have to do is keep them around. They don't need to actually win the fight. And Froggen is so strong that they actually are able to do so. Both TPs were coming in, but then were canceled, and Camille ends up staying around. It's just the one next to her to defend. And from this point, Froggen and Gate don't actually ever need to kill TSM's members. They just need to keep poking them, keep them here, and buy enough time. And that's exactly what they do as the turret goes down. Camille's able to win the 1v1 and eventually end the game.
I gotta go, my people need me. Not enough.
It's
too
the
little.
golden glue. See you, nerds.
Yeah, see ya. Too little too late there, but great win for FOX. Really lighting a fire under themselves, adapting and finding out what wasn't working in that early game composition, and they actually got two things that were banned out against them last game, and they actually had a pretty big impact this game, that Camille and that Blirzcrank. So big stuff coming in from Fox. We are going to be heading into a game 3. When we return, we'll see if FOX can pull out the upset versus TSM. Meet us back here after the break.
Audio for Bjergsen.